Prosecutor shifts Smollett recusal reasons, releases files. Chicago's top prosecutor again shifted her explanation for why she recused herself from an investigation into Jussie Smollett's claim that had been the target of a hate crime, saying she stepped aside because of false rumors she was related to the Empire actor. Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx offered the new public explanation in a statement issued along with the release of 2,000 pages of documents in the case, which also refer to the rumors arising as suspicions grew that Smollett, who is black and gay, staged the attack against himself. Her statement and the documents, which included internal office communications, illustrate how Foxx and her office at times agonized over whether she should recuse herself at all and over how to explain the decision in March to drop all charges that accused Smollett of lying about the assault and making a false police report. Smollett claimed, Foxx said in her Friday statement, false. But previous explanations suggested that she recused herself in February because of communications with a Smollett family member as the investigation of the reported attack was ongoing. Foxx communicated in early February with former First Lady Michelle Obama's former Chief of Staff Tina Chin, who was representing Smollett's family, and with a member of Smollett's family about the investigation. She recused her. The new documents portrayed her as torn about whether to recuse herself at all. In texts with her chief of staff, Jennifer Ballardcroft, Foxx said she was unhappy about having to step away from the investigation, even calling the false rumors racist. An ethics officer, she said, told. Previously released communications also show how Foxx inserted herself in the case even though she had publicly vowed to stay out of the decision-making. Parts of the Friday releases, not attributed directly to Foxx but to her office, say the new materials being released reveals. It also suggests miscommunication, saying that attorneys within the office advised against using the word recusal in what Foxx was doing because they saw no actual conflict of interest. Those. Smollett faced 16 felony counts related to making a false report that he was assaulted by two men early on January 29. Investigators, Foxx's office released the hundreds of police reports, warrants, internal emails and texts that media organization had requested for months as offices closed for the weekend Friday evening. A judge had approved. Among the documents were letters to Foxx from supporters of Smollett in February, urging her office to rethink the charges. One letter was from New York attorney Brian Ponder, who wrote. He wrote in his letter, dated February 21, 2019, that he understood the gravity of a false report accusation, but added that, The recusal issue has continued to dog the state's attorney's office. In late March, after questions were raised about the dropping of charges, Foxx and her aides sought to recast her role, with one statement saying Foxx used. As documents released earlier illustrated, Foxx nevertheless weighed in at critical points as her staff decided whether to proceed with the prosecution, which began when Smollett was charged on February 20. Her input included Foxx text solo. Maggots responded to his boss, saying yes. In her direct Friday statement, Foxx called the Smollett case unique. Allegations. But she also conceded that the matter, especially on the recusal issue, wasn't handled as well as it could have been.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.